Too busy to take your car in for service or too lazy and don't want to deal with the hassle? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Fervent 4. Did you know that only 4% of businesses ever cross the annual $1 million revenue mark? Hello, I'm Zack Miller, author of Anomaly. With me today, I have my co-host Tim Ryan, lead man at StartWheel.org. Thank you so much for joining us. The Fervent 4 is a weekly show each and every Thursday at 11 a.m. dedicated to sharing insights into growing a world-class business, no matter the climate. Nick Kondoori created KarHappy to remedy all of your apartment needs around your vehicle. Nick, Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Peace. I love that. I always end with peace. To start it, that's a new one. I appreciate that.
The other thing, what was the little bump in the road there in the intro?
So I have this pen. And I don't know what I was doing, but I dropped it. Who knew? I don't know. Nick, what's happening? Good morning.
Good morning. And firstly, thank you very much for letting me to be on this show, and I feel really honored. And I thank Oz for introducing me to you guys, and I check you guys out. You guys bring cool shows, and I really feel honored to be on the show. Yeah, man. And I really wanted to be more popular. So, I look forward to it. Like, popular all over the world is what I mean. It's popular in Norfolk, no doubt. It gotta, grow beyond the limits.
So you're not originally from here. You came here because you had an opportunity to get into the new 757 Startup Studio space, which we'll talk about at some point today. But where are you originally from? And I guess you got here because of the opportunity with 757 Startup Studios. But where have you lived? Like when someone says, or like me, when Zack Miller says, "Hey, where are you from?" What do you say?
Oh, I'm originally born in India.
Okay.
And I came here from my master's, and then after master's in New York City, right by the Lincoln Center. And believe it or not, right after my MS, I went to Omaha, Nebraska.
Yep.
From city to the country. I really wanted to explore the all of America, right? And there was my first job, and I really loved it. And then we came to Virginia, and we did pretty well for a while. And I was like working in IT as a DBA, and lastly with the data warehouse projects, I was doing extremely well. But I always had this entrepreneurial brain on my band. I want to be working. I was really doing very well. I can't complain.
You were in the Northern Virginia area? Or what?
That is correct. And working in the DC metro area. And then, but I wanted to be an entrepreneur on the online space. When the .com ever started, I built a small website for my accountant, and I did not know nothing about HTML. Right. So I tried it. So that's my entrepreneurial spirit, working full time and try to do some side gigs. So the online website thing, when Amazon, kind of started selling books and disrupted borders and everything else around it, I was fascinated, and I wanted to be on the .com space. So I started learning web design and development. And that did not go well because the classes that I went to started with Photoshop, trying to, put me into HTML. I said, no, I think I want to learn something different. But then there was this Greenbird Media in San Diego that was up for sale. And I went and I, bought them out. I thought it was a perfect opportunity. They had clients, they had products, they did Drupal, that has MySQL on the back end. Being a database guy, I was kind of glued to it, and I ran that for a while. But my ultimate goal was, I've been a car owner for always, right? But coming to car care, it was always the same old school. The first ever car that I bought in 1994, and even today, it's the same thing. The oil change, well, now it's changing with the electric cars, but it's always been like that. Take your car, wait for the service, come back. oil change, inspection, do this over and over again. And if you're like my wife, depended on me for the second car for the most part, so I ended up taking 2 cars, right? So
Sit in the waiting room.
exactly, drive to the shop, get the service done, wait there, and kind of again wait in line to pay if it's kind of a thing, and then bring back. So I was kind of, there's a lot that we could do, and I had Lexus at one point. The 2 services were free at the dealer, and the third one was expensive. And I checked, like, what did you all do? They're like, we changed the oil and checked filter fluids. I'm like, well, at some other Jiffy Lube kind of place, it's $35 to $40. Why am I spending like $200? And then I thought there's an opportunity here. Something got to be done. It's all running old school. And I started prepping. So my original model for KarHappy was like, actually from the website to all the mobile applications. Once you open the app, it's going to plot the places around you for the service that you want, like car wash, oil change, mark, whatever. And then you'll find a bunch of providers be able to publish their deals, if you would say like Groupon, right on the app. And then you're able to book, pay, go get it done. So as a car owner, what was a pain point for me? My pain point was not able to shop around for services, whether it's small or big, and not able to book an appointment, not able to pay up front, kind of a thing. So that's what I built. And I was doing market survey, and I went to U-Haul, and they said, we have a need if you want to take the car. Like they had box trucks and like pickup and cargo. So for the small fleet, if you could get a service that offsite, like, drive it to the shop, bring it back, like a concierge service, we would love that. And then I pivoted again, and then I made that model. We did extremely well for the first few months with U-Haul, and I've been very grateful for them for doing this, but the COVID happened. In our model, we don't carry overhead. We're a platform that connects you with the people who can do the service for you. So we're a technology platform, right? So both sides are our customers, like providers and the customers. So with the COVID, everything got disrupted. Both sides were closed down for a good amount of the year. And then when they started opening back up, majority of the people's thing is not how to get business, how to stay afloat, how to put like hygiene, CDC guidelines in place and all of that. And then I was totally kind of down because of the amount of time, money, and it was going somewhere, but it's not going anywhere. And then I heard about 757 giving an office space. I just wanted to get out of the home, out of the couch, right? And then be in the real office space. So I'm here in Startup Studios and promoting this as a concierge car care service. We hook you up with a provider that can pick up your car, do the service, and bring it back to you.
And here you are sitting on the couch again.
Yes, sir. But this couch is a lot better. It's not at home. It's an office space. If I can like flip my camera, you would see a beautiful, beautiful iconic building. You guys know it. So can't complain. I'm like, yeah, I feel like putting back energy back into me pre-COVID levels.
What? So you've been in the area, the Hampton Roads area, downtown Norfolk, for a couple of weeks now. What are your first? What are your first impressions of the area? Love to hear that fresh take. You're looking at everything through fresh eyes. Lived
so long, about 2 decades in Virginia on and off, but never been to this area, never been to Virginia Beach. I had friends from Virginia Beach and who kind of born and grew up here and invited me, but I just never came to this part of the city. I went to Richmond, I went to Charlottesville, I drove to North Carolina and all that stuff, but never made a stop. But honestly, my first impression when I was kind of coming into Norfolk downtown, I'm like, I do not think this is the place I want to be, because it was all like shipyards, the lakes, the bridges, the congestion and all of that. And I came through downtown Norfolk, well, the other parts of the Norfolk, if you will say. But when I came into downtown, I saw the building, I'm like, whoa. So it's like a total shift of my opinions from there to wow. And then I started exploring downtown. I started loving it more and more. And And I think Virginia Beach is what really, I kind of visited twice. I'm like, this is it, man. I think if I ever want to be, I want to be here.
It's interesting. People will call Norfolk specific, and probably any other part of the metro, a checkered board. I think Norfolk could definitely be a checkered board. When I first moved here, I moved here from Sterling, Virginia, up north, the DMV.
Oh, okay.
And I moved here in 2007. And I worked in TV news at the time. And I remember when I first moved here, Tim, I don't know if you ever heard the story, but when I first moved here, I was fresh out of college. I was young. And someone was like, yeah, this area is like a checkered board. And I didn't understand what that meant. And what they meant was one street is good. The next street is not good. Oh, and then the next street after that is good.
There you go.
And then the next street after that is bad, basically for the entire area. And so it's not that bad. I mean, it's not street to street, but it is, if you think about it, right? Like downtown is pretty good. Yeah. Then there's this weird area. Then there's a nice area. Then there's a weird area.
I know, so yeah.
It's very odd, but once you kind of put that together, you're like, huh. And then if you took it from a business perspective, just the amount of different industries that are kind of checkered boarded in, it's I don't know, it's different than any other region from that perspective, or at least I
kind of like the analogy of checkerboard. One block and the other block is like totally different contrast. That's what I felt initially, kind of driving through all the blocks, right, to the downtown area. I'm like, yeah, like you said, one area, oh, wow. And one area, like, ooh.
Different types of wows. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Man, I've lived here for 20 years and I've never heard that the checkerboard analogy before. I learned something.
I can give you a tour now of like, having that feeling, like wow kind of thing. Yeah, the checkerboard feeling. I like that. I like that phrase of checkerboard hopping, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, especially this historic city like Chesapeake, I would believe. Chesapeake, which is Chesapeake Boulevard. It's kind of northeast from where we are. That was like beautiful. And then, like you said, right after 1 minute, it's like again, yeah. Yep.
Weird area.
But I think Virginia Beach is awesome so far. Pockets of Norfolk, like the one Chesapeake Boulevard, I think was pretty historic. It was written there like it's a historic city. And that was beautiful. And pockets are beautiful. So I don't mind. Yeah.
So with that, a question that I have for you, Nick, based on all this checkerboard stuff is, so are you just primarily, is it a software play that you are doing, or do you all actually go and pick up people's cars and take them to where they have to get serviced, or you just provide the software platform to allow people to do it?
We only provide the platform, and I am a strong believer of supporting local businesses. Mm-hmm. Even if you have a disruptive technology, you can still work with the local businesses. They're going to like it, number one. Number two, when you involve local players, it will probably bring more authenticity and credibility to your business model than disrupting, like I can send you a guy. Then I can hook you up with a guy in the area that you know of who can do the service that you don't know about, like picking it up, doing the oil change, bring it back to you, So, yeah. So we work with local business partners, and we are a software platform that connects, and we set the rules for everybody to be happy, kind of a thing.
And how does that work in terms of your pricing? Is it pay as you go, or is it subscription based, or are you still trying to figure all that out?
Well, very good question. The original model was like a set price, like $99 for oil change, $99 for detail, $99 for other service kind of thing. But now I've been advised by my mentors here, Startup Studios, to promote it to employers, passing this as employees, right? So I had to come up with a new model. We're going to charge $100 per car per year, but you pay actuals to the shop. Having said, it's kind of a subscription model. Monthly car wash and 2 oil changes in a year and 1 state inspection. It's all taken care while you're working in the office building. So the model now is like we are promoting to the employers to give this as a benefit to employees, so their time in the weekend or during, most of the people or employees take care of the car maintenance during the lunch or break hours. That's going to be a distraction from the work, or can focus. So we're promoting this as like increased productivity and employee satisfaction by offering a concierge service while they're at work. We take care of their car maintenance, and they never have to bother about it. It's like once a car wash, once in a month, 2 oil changes, and 1 state inspection while they are at work. So we charge $100 per car per year from the employer, and then the actuals of whatever happens to the shops.
Got it. So when I go to the grocery store and I'm lazy and I don't want to actually go around and find the Doritos that I want, or the dillies that I want, or the cucumbers that I want, I decide to so like, for example, I've used Kroger recently, and they go and they actually, because of COVID, they've been doing it for free, where they'll go and they'll actually do the shopping for me. I just pull up and do it. And so it's a similar version for that, but for your vehicle. So who picks up the vehicle in this kind of case? You, the actual dealership, the place where it's going, or do you actually then have a vehicle service too that picks it up and drives it to those places?
Now, with the current model, we want the service shop to be picking it up.
Got it.
Having said, believe it or not, they still do that sometimes. It's not always, but if they know you well, they give you a pickup and drop off service. I came to know about it when I was doing the market research, and I'm like, so there's a hidden gem out there that's been offered to only VIP clients. Now, why not we make it like more generic and package it kind of not as a premium service, but as a regular service, with the grab. Go ahead.
Which is interesting because if you think about it, in this world, dealerships historically, people think they're making money on their vehicles. People think they're making money on the used market of it, and yes, they do. But service is where they make their bread and butter. So you would think that where they make all the money, they would do anything to attract someone to actually go into the center to make that happen. So it's interesting that historically it only went to VIPs, even though they make all their money in service.
Right. And it's not only dealers. I'm lately talking about the mama papa stores in the area. Like I said, I'm a strong believer of supporting local businesses. I always want to stay local as much as possible, right? Shop in the local areas. So somehow my heart goes out to local businesses. So I want to help local businesses be part of the revolution, because as it is, they cannot be like something like Uber or Lyft, right? It's going to disrupt the cab drivers. And it might happen, if not me, somebody else will kind of come up with a model, because what your grandparents are doing, you're still doing the same thing for the car care maintenance. So there got to be something done here. Although there is mobile service available, some companies have like mobile service on-demand app, but there are limitations to it. They can only do one service and not all that we provide, number one. Number two, not all property management companies allow you to get that service performed on the premise. And then there could be EPA. Most HOAs don't allow you to do oil change or any maintenance on car at that location. Even if you have a, garage, you cannot do oil change in the garage kind of a thing, I've experienced that before.
So just to piggyback that, in the world of Uber and Lyft, you said it disrupts the taxi cab world. And so you basically, the question I have is, who do you piss off in this world, right? So in Uber and Lyft, it's the taxi cab thing, right? So all the taxi cabs got livid about the whole thing, right? So who in your world right now, who does KarHappy piss off in this situation?
It should not anybody, because I'm going to this shop, like let's say Zack's Auto Body, like Zack's Car Care Center, right? And I go to Zack and I said, Zack, by the way, do you know your insurance covers the part of you there's a question actually in your garage application. Do you offer pickup and drop off service to your customers? And if you go yes, what percentage? How often? So we're trying to bring in that hidden gem. Like I said, there's a gem that's hidden out. We kind of bring it out and say, hey, go to your insurance company and tell them you want to do this all the time.
So it's a value add that's already there that you're
exactly
just grabbing. Okay, interesting.
It's kind of bring it out, like throw more light on that's something that's hidden, which is what the world wants now. Like you can push the button and get the food, dog food, pretty much anything you could think of. Why not car care?
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. And so my question is, you're a database guy. What have you done, or are you doing anything at all from a database standpoint in terms of, do you track like make, model of each customer or subscriber's vehicle, and then so what month the inspection is, and then month 11 you send out an email saying, hey, we're going to be scheduling you for your next for your inspection that is due next month. Do you all offer any of those premium types of services?
Very, very good question. As it is, currently for the first phase, we're going to start doing it manual. That's why we have a whole package, then a la carte, which Zack was mentioning, that I want to have cucumber, I want to have that, but it's like one package, so you never have to worry about your car service again, including washing. So while we do the periodic wash, we can check the oil change, number one, and see when it's coming up for due. And yes, we have built back-end AI, sort of, if you would speak, because each car is different. Even if the same model, same make of a car could have different variants. Like if you say Toyota Camry, right? It has V6, V4, so it's all different. So we built in a database and then kind of map the manufacturer recommendation, and then we kind of read into it and then alert it. For that we need the mileage. And going forward, my ideal scenario would be like there is OBD gadgets that are available. They're pretty cheap actually. But even if like we have a maintenance guy, he could take the OBD, which is very portable and it's very inexpensive, hook it up to the car, read the whole thing, spit out the report, and right after the wash, give it to the car owner. Hey, by the way, this is your, this is what's going on with your car. And that is not expensive. While they finish the cleaning part of it, they could read all these statistics and give them the report, and they go, huh. And that's no selling point, nothing. We're just making you aware of what's the health of your car. Mm-hmm. And then we would know it by that time if it's all changed, and then we schedule it manually. But then going forward, I want it to be all automated with OBD that can transmit the data to us. That's at a later point when we are funded, when we have enough resources. I'm sorry? Onboard diagnostics.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, because I just know for me, my daughter drives her car. I don't ever drive that car. And it's just like, there's been a couple of times where it's like, hey, Dad, my car needs to be inspected. And I look down and look at the date, and it's like 2 days before the end of the month kind of thing.
Exactly, right.
Yeah. And, so from that standpoint, it's a great service. Same holds true with oil changes as well. It's not a car that I'm ever in. So to have a little push or a reminder to take care of that stuff, I think is a great value add.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I mean, this model, I did not, like I said, I'm a tech guy, right? And then I've been working in the IT world. I knew there's something here, and then I jumped into it, and luckily I had connections in India. I went there, set up a shop, got all this product developed. It's on iOS, Android. You can download the app right now, but it's a concierge service kind of a thing. But then I did not know nothing about car maintenance per se. I can drive the car. I know it's due for oil change and things, but I did not know like there's the pain points that we have. At every point, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work because every car is different, right? Even for pricing of a standard price package for a specific car is difficult, but I want to build that. It's not difficult. It's just like nobody cared for it so far. So I have this idea of building all manufacturer recommendation into my database, and then OBD, which is very inexpensive. Actually, you could get for $5 on Amazon. But I'm talking about if we can spend $100 OBD that can transmit the code to us, right? And I'm in the game. Like I know everything about what's happening to the car. I can let you know what's happening, or you would know what's happening. And then we would schedule them, so you don't have to worry about it. Then we will have our guys.
Even in a case like that, you can. Does the OBD that will, if there's a recall or something like that that needs to be attended to, does an OBD pick up on that, and then you can then reach out to the customer and say, hey, you have a warranty item or a recall area that you need to schedule. We can take care of that for you.
I do not know with the electric cars that might be possible, the two-way communication, but any car that's made after 1995 had this gadget. And your car you have it. And if you see right under your steering wheel, there's something like dangling out, like a plug-in thing, and nobody knows what it is. When you go to the shop, that's what they do. They hook it up to that and then read the computer statistics of the car. Having said that, OBD comes from $5 through $500, right? So I want to find the right fit that I can afford, give it to you, and say, hey, Tim and Ryan, have these gadgets on your car. You're done. I will let you know. I'll come and take care of it. You don't have to worry about it. And I'll let you know what's happening. If you care to know about what's happening with your car, I can get you a report. Or I can make you a copy of the report as if when I read it every month when I do the wash. Mm-hmm. So that's the model. My main thing is, I, as a car owner for so many years, I've been spending time, which I do not think is effective, but I got to do it. But I do not like it, so I want somebody else to do it for me. And I read it out. That's what is happening. At every home, nobody want to do it. They still got to do it. It's the price point. But if you see DoorDash, Grubhub, and those models for something that you would pay $5, $6, and we paid $15. I'm like, what the hell? 3 times.
I'm living on Uber right now.
Exactly.
This is because this is my inspection month, and I look down. So it's the 17th, and I have 13 days to do it, and my calendar is full, and I'm like, gosh, when am I? I don't have time for this, but
So we will add a little bit of premium
from those places because I dropped it off. Or I'd go sit at the Mac Shack for 4 hours, just getting angry. It's just like ridiculous. I mean, but in that case, an Uber or Lyft from where I was taking it to my dealership because, they offered me free oil changes for life, which, I guess it's free oil changes. But if I'm spending $25 to get an Uber or Lyft home, then it's a $50 oil change. I'm not even, I'm wasting money. I'm interested. Well, it sounds like that little dongle that you're talking about is what Flo from Progressive always talks about, where they clip it in to figure out what those commercials where they tell you like, oh, are you a good driver or not? Maybe it wasn't Flo from Progressive, but
but I don't think it's that easy. You just put it in, but you got to have it. Well, that's one thing, right? You have a OBD gadget that put into the dongle, and then you're going to have a program that can read the error codes or what's happening and appropriately map it, kind of a thing. But just having that itself won't probably help you as a person. Or maybe now it may be a little different. It's been a while that I checked into it. But the ultimate model is that's going to be that's my vision.
Got it. So what's interesting in this is you talked about how you're a tech guy, you understand numbers like Tim was saying, you're a database guy, but you're not a car guy, right? You've had a vehicle, millions of people have vehicles, probably billions of people. And you're in the startup studio space right now. They're probably using the word like customer discovery around these things to really understand stuff like that. How do you actually recognize? Because I think most business owners do a very poor job of understanding their customer discovery. How are you recognizing what's actually valuable information, and how do you survey these vehicle owners, these fleet owners, to really gauge what they need and what those real pain points are? Because I can imagine it's just a maze of all these things of all this information. It's trying to figure out which one of that is actually going to be valid for you to build off the business.
Actually, your question itself has an answer, I would say, because there are different people, right? From car owners to the fleet managers, and everybody had these pain points, and then for everyone it's the same pain point, right? So I've been advised, although I've been a tech guy 4 years into it, although I'm not a mechanic to fix the cars, but I know what happens and how to handle it on the technical side. I've done enough research. Having said, the current model is our target market is employers, especially with attorneys and accountants. Their paralegal or the accounting staff are kind of billed hourly to the clients, and extremely important to keep them happy. If they are like due for services like this, which they tend to take care of during the lunch or break hours, it's a distraction from the service. So I am focused, or we as the startup studios recommended me to give this to employers, starting with the attorneys who would say, okay, I want to be in the office. By the time I get out of the office, I need to be done, right? So they can focus on the core work. So our model is now the target market is employers of medium to small size who can pass on this benefit to their employees. So if you have a 20 employee company,
are they paying for the actual $100 annual in that case too, or are they just recommending that this is a service that they should use?
Either or my model is, as an employer, you pay $100 per car per employee per year, right? Or per car per year. And then the actuals that happen, whatever those are, that can be price pointed. Like if it's 2 oil changes for Honda Civic, or if it's BMW. So we can package it out, and either the employer pays or they pay 50%, or employee pays. That's up to them. But the $100 is what I'm charging as a KarHappy to make this convenience for you. Would that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. One question that I have that would be really, really great. Do you all, or maybe you'll offer this, maybe this is like 2.0 or 3.0 in your product roadmap, but it would be great to almost digitize your car records, almost like your car's medical records. I know exactly. That like when I recently sold a car, and I had a folder just stuffed with 15 years worth of maintenance records, so that I could pass. I was the only owner of the car. I passed that on to them, and then that was that was something that they really, really found of value. But also, it's always one of those things. You just paid for your car to get serviced. It's under warranty. It's always under warranty for a certain amount of time. If it breaks, or if is it then under warranty? It would be great to have that single place, because I just can't believe that this is so paper driven still. And that's another area that I feel is ripe for disruption.
Actually, that's true. I mean, it's all automatic. Once you order through the app, right? I mean, it's app through. Even if the employer paid for it, the employee paid for it, we would try to schedule, right? But we don't want to make it like Monday morning, 8 o'clock. You got to be here so we can do the wash. No. There's an app. Like you push through the app. When is your leisure schedule for the month, right? Or for that service, we'll let you know when it's due. And then you could, on demand, sort of, schedule it, right? And so we save all the records. You're right. Gone are the days when you want to, take your owner's manual out of your glove box and try to jot down what service you had on the back. There's space available in the owner's manual where you could jot down like all the maintenance that has done to the car. Now, most people do not put the car wash, but in our case, we would track everything down. If you're selling your car, we can let the employer pay for it, and it's a great value. And the employees can just, when they sell the car or trade in the car, they can just, hand this report over, check it out. We've been maintaining pretty well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that would be really, really huge. Another question I have is, you mentioned electric vehicles a couple times. How has the adoption of electric vehicles started to change your business? Where do you see that going? Because there's less maintenance required for those EVs, and how do you stay ahead of that? I would love to hear your take.
Well, the electric vehicles are pretty brand new, right? And there's only one brand right now that's leading. Having said, they still need to get their cars washed. And I would think the tires need to.
Yep. When I heard you bring up the car wash, that was what immediately I thought was a really smart move, in the sense of, because really the only maintenance would be car washing and rotating tires. But I didn't mean to interrupt. Please continue.
Exactly. Rotating tires. And then, well, every car, they got to be washed. They got to be cleaned. They got to be changing their tires. And I think, well, it's brand new, and only one company has they kind of put it in a shell that nobody else kind of gets it. You can't break the shell. But going down the road, when it happens, like, oh, it's my car, I'm going to be able to take it anywhere that I want, right? Now that is not available. One electric, like Tesla, they only service the cars, they only do it, everything. But guess what? There are 235 million cars in America. If you just Google it down, right? Just Google number of cars in America. It's 235 million.
Wow.
If all are electric cars, then you would have a lot of stats of what is going to be the maintenance requirement. Right now, nobody knows because it's all closed doors. You have no access to the information. And they take care of it, right? They take care of it. You do not know. It may not be a spark plug, but it may be some wire, cable, something in there that needs to be changed often. If not, that could be like producing heat or, causing fire. You don't know that. So nobody knows. Having said, the amount of electric vehicles as of today in the market is minuscule, right?
Yeah, it's going to take 20 years minimum for that too.
235 million cars. They still got to be serviced, or until they are in a junkyard or they're gone, they still got to be maintained. And I'm talking about 10 to 12, by which time we can figure out how we can help the electric cars. And if it's only one brand right now to 10 brands, like I said, you still need to wash, you need to tire rotation or change tires. And then who knows what parts will be required, maintenance. I do not strongly believe that everything is built in stone, every part, so it never goes way off. I think there got to be something that needs to be changed periodically, which we don't know at this point. Once we know, we're going to offer that service.
Tim has an EV, so that this is interesting. Is the only thing that you've ever done is change the tires?
Yeah, and I just got new tires this month because it's my inspection month, and I knew that I was going to have to do that. But yeah, literally the only thing is to rotate the tires every 12,000 miles, and then every 2 years you change the air cabin filter, which is
there's YouTube 10 of I Shine.
That's right. But that's something that I'm not a maintenance guy whatsoever. I don't have that skill set, but I do that. But that's another area where not everyone's going to want to do that.
Of the 250 million vehicles that you've talked about, though, I mean, what percentage of those do you actually think is your customer? Because if you're looking for if you're selling B2B, which is basically what you're doing at this point, right, is going to the employer saying, hey, buy this thing for your 15 employees so that they stay working instead of leaving my place. Of that 250 million, what is the actual amount? 40 million vehicles?
I think it would be very hard to answer that question. It would be like, if a car care industry is disrupting the whole market, it's like how many number of horses you had before cars, right? And then you kind of relate to it. I think it's kind of not a question that we can say, oh, I want to get 10%, I want to get 1%. Maybe you'll get it all, or maybe you'll get none. Even if you got like 1%.
Anyone that gets 1% of real adoption in a market is going to do fine. It's just
exactly
that 1%.
Right.
Yeah,
1% of the whole market is great for us. We're talking about, being successful.
Yeah, if you get to 1%, I'll be very happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So where are you at in terms of what stage of your business? Are you totally launched and you're in the growth stage, or are you in beta? Where are you at, and what are the challenges that you're facing as you move forward?
The product development, like technical, like being available on App Store and all, is done. We may have to make a few modifications, which is not very difficult. It does not take time, but we are, as we speak, there's a workflow. We have two sites to sell. One is provider and one is the paying user. The paying user for us is the employer. So I'm going after all the attorneys and accountants in downtown Norfolk, and we have a process. I do not just go on day one and try to sell them. So we have a flow of trying to make them understand what it is, kind of bring awareness to them. So the workflow. So we have finished the workflow, and we have finished the questionnaires for different areas, like the employer, attorney is different, accountant is different, property management companies are different. So we want to promote these three, like attorneys, accountants, and property managers. So we have developed a program, like a workflow for each of those categories, and I have the interviews, survey sheets, material like pitch decks. Each product pitch deck for everybody, kind of a thing. So in about a week, we would have done with cold calling attorneys to see what the interest. But I do not want to make the mistake of selling at the first call to everybody. So I want to get validate them, qualify them, see if they're the right fit, see if the company is really offering some kind of cool benefits. The one attorney company that I talked to does not offer any benefits other than health and disability, which is required, and that's it. The other accounting company that I talked to, which was a cold call by me, it's a survey. At first, I just do a survey of, I want to know how many employees you have, what kind of benefits do you do you look for cool fringe benefits to offer? So what is a cool benefit that you have out in the market that you're not being provided? How open are you to have new? That's it. And then go next week again and try to, hey, remember we talked? I have something that I want to share with you. Can I send you an email? And then go back and then send them a video. Hey, how do you think about videos? So kind of put them into action, and then finally tell them, can you do it? If not, if I'm holding a folder trying to go sell them, the moment somebody is walking at you with a folder, that you're trying to sell it, I'm not interested. So I don't want to be that guy. I want to educate them. I want to go slow process. I'm sorry?
Hi, I want to sell you something today. Will you buy my thing? I just met you. Yeah.
All right. I respect you to bring it on.
Yeah, I'm interested in, just from a location standpoint, different areas have more, I think you call them fringe benefits for clients than others. You talked about downtown Norfolk, even just from this region perspective. I'm interested in just what are your thoughts on when this region isn't open to that the same way that a San Francisco would be, or that a market that is more, the appetite is bigger to that, right? So here's the example. You go to a San Francisco startup, right, where all these businesses or a legal firm or whatever, and a lot of these firms offer a ridiculous amount of benefits. They'll do the dry cleaning. They'll give you food every single day. They'll give you ridiculous amounts of coffee. I've lived here 13 years. I'd say I'm pretty into the community here. I haven't seen a lot of companies that are doing stuff like that, right? So I'm interested in your customer discovery here and seeing how it comes out, because my initial guess would be that not a lot of businesses are doing that, but that doesn't mean that the idea that you are going with is the wrong idea. It's just location dependent.
Yeah. Or even the difference between Herndon and here.
That is correct. Totally.
Well, think about the median income here is what, 52K. Up there, it's 130K. That's a huge difference in just salaries.
You're right. But here's the thing. I'm not in San Francisco. I'm in 757 Startup Studios. I better make it happen here, right? There's no choice. Having said, the people I've talked to, I only done few out of the many right now. One or two of them, I got encouragement. One of the property managers I talked to, he said, yes, I love this. I want to tell it to all property managers, even property managers, you want to have a service to your tenants, tell them that their employees doesn't, get this benefit, And he was fully into it, and he was gonna promote this to his employer. It's a national company, but he's gonna see what. But the kind of encouragement that I got was good. And out of the 2 calls that I made, few calls and 2 leads that I got of my cold calling so far, looks good. Like I said, I don't want to sell them at day one.
I'm not trying to discourage you from anything like that, but I'm a big believer in money talks, right?
Exactly.
And so a lot of people
Yes.
can spit a lot of game, and you can go down this rabbit hole that makes you feel like you're super encouraged and that things are going to be great. And at the end of the day, when KarHappy Nick comes up and says, "Hey, this is what I want you to pay," those people are like, "Well, I loved it when I didn't think I was going to have to pay for it."
Well,
and so my mom used to tell me I was a great singer. I wasn't a great singer, right? And so then I went to try out for singing, to be a part of chorus, and the teacher, when basically I went to sing, she's like, "Well, you're a terrible singer." So we get bad advice, is what I'm being told, or we get inaccurate data points from people. So I'm just saying money talks in this situation, and I'm hopeful that your optimism turns into cash, and you don't go down a rabbit hole that.
Well, and to your point, though, Zach, I think that even if it's not a B2B play, to me, you would be solving a pain point that I would subscribe based on a B2C play.
You are, but then it's an entire different situation where you're getting the employer to promote you, and you hope that employer will promote you that different way. And so I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was my model when I got here to 757 Studios. It was B2C. I had like a social media campaign, B2C, and I hooked up with 2 guys already. One car wash guy, he's like, "Yes, I'm on," and he signed up. I was all excited. Within 1 week it happened. I was going to fool about it. But mind you guys, there's like startup studios and great mentors, great people. I mean, the ambience here about startup, and I've been advised correctly, and I'm happy I'm going in that direction. And we have mentors and great people in StartWheel, right? So I'm kind of getting good advisement. So I'm going in the right direction. If not, I would have been jumping to B2C, and by now I would have seen it happen. But I do not want to make that mistake of me being aggressive. Just go get it. I gotta be. I'm not saying be aggressive in any kind of way. I'm just saying you can go down a rabbit hole of thinking you're getting good information by talking to someone who's encouraging and saying, "I'm interested in this thing," and then when the money comes out, they basically say, "No, I'm not that interested." And so you can be manipulating what they're saying, thinking it's really great, and it's not as it's at the end of the day, the thing that matters is that they buy your service, right?
Exactly.
They can love you all day, but if they're not going to buy your service, KarHappy doesn't survive. And so
you're right.
That's all I'm saying is just make sure that the data points that you are getting
kind of convert into cash.
Yes. Correct.
I agree. I totally agree. And we will know that in about a couple of weeks, probably, because we just started going through the workflow of identification and engage the customer and then try to sell. So we'll see how that goes in 2 to 3 weeks is max. We would know about it. If not, this space, like you said, B2C.
Do you have any early indications now in terms of who is more open to your services? Is it the millennials? Is it higher income? Are you looking into that right now?
We do not have enough data point at this point because it's only a couple of weeks that I'm here with this new model of promoting to the employers.
Gotcha.
Right, and it's only 1 week that I finished putting some documents together, changing the pitch deck to the messaging kind of a thing, right? The 30-second elevator pitch to everything got to change, right? So we do not have enough data points at this point, but in a couple weeks, I'm pretty sure we would have.
And that is something that you are actively paying attention to, so that as you continue to push your marketing, that you know who your target market is.
That is correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah, because nothing like having some form of marketing, then you pivoting to some extent, and your marketing still going out there to the wrong person. countless amount of businesses that I've worked with and myself have done over the years have done that. And it's just like, oh yeah, we're still marketing this thing that we've proven that is fake news, basically. And so it's not
Yes.
a good thing.
Yeah, at this point of 3 to 4 years into this, all this, and with the COVID and all the thing, I have no patience then to just get this happen. You know, it gotta happen. If not, you know, it doesn't. But like I'm saying, I'm going to be all about it and see if that would happen. Like you're right. I mean, until that, like Zack, I totally agree what you said. People are going to love it and all, but when it comes to paying cash, that's when it really counts.
Yeah.
And I want to count on that agreements or a check in my hand. That's what I'm looking forward.
And I say that from experience. That's why I was so animated.
Totally, I agree. I mean, it's not only the employers. Even if like I'm selling you something like a mouse, right? Oh, that's a cool mouse. Have you ever? But do you want to buy it? I'm like, nah, I'm not interested. Hey, you just said, yeah, it's cool, but you know, I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I totally agree.
Not the right word, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I said cool isn't enough, right? In that kind of case,
Yep.
right? My mouse works fine right now, you know, and a cool mouse isn't what I'm looking for. Maybe a cool rat, and that'd be cool. But who knows?
Yeah, we'll know.
Nick, how much time are you putting into this business? It seems like you're talking. You have sounds like you're all in on this, and you know, some people put their toe in the water, but it seems like you're putting in a lot of effort. And I'm just curious, like. One of the things Elon Musk says, if you're working 80 hours a week, you're going to get somewhere twice as fast as someone who's only putting in 40 hours a week.
That is correct. I have, been into this 4 years already, right? But the COVID has taken 1.5 years, and I did not want to go out myself during that time. I'll be honest. Like, I did not work hard, and I'm like, you know, trying to stay safe and all of that. But I did put a lot of time and effort into it. And I do not believe that if you want to work 80 hours, like I want to work 80 hours now on what? I mean, I'm going to have to go and talk to people. The attorneys are not available 24/7, you know, and kind of a thing. But yeah, I'm going to put all my body into it, 80 hours or 120, whatever it takes, maybe 240 in a, that's too much in a week, but whatever, the max out. I have been putting into it. So yeah. Do I miss any of your points? I think I miss.
Yeah, no, I just one thing that I just always find really interesting is that, like, you had mentioned that you're from India, and other people that come to America, entrepreneurship is alive and well, and they see the opportunity. They are the ones that really see that America is a land of opportunity. Whereas people that are born and raised here, they just kind of, they drag their feet. They kind of do things at their own pace.
So.
You don't
I
think
do
so?
not believe so. You take from Henry Ford to the Wright brothers to Oracle to Microsoft to computer, Apple, everything happens here by the people who were born here.
But if you look at so many of the leading CEOs out there today, I mean, so many of them have come from other countries.
Well, that's managing. Yeah. I mean, it's good. Like, they have opened up the doors. That means it does not mean that the technology, whatever happened in the whole world, has happened because of America, and that was from here. And you start, I think more immigrants came past century maybe, but everything was planned, and like, you know, the power, like Thomas Edison, whoever, whatever you think of the modern comforts and luxuries had, the innovation had to happen here and from the American people. So I do not agree with you, like only, you know, people coming from outside, yes, they have ambitions because they see the opportunity. But it does not mean that, yeah, I think the Americans are always still leading.
Gotcha.
What does success look like for you? I mean, like, you know, you're going through the 757 Startup Studios program. I'm not sure how long that is, but like, what does success look like after that? And overall, like, what does success look like to you?
For me, when the product is really adapted, and get into like approved by the market and started paying like 10K MRR, then I would think it's a success. And I'm really shooting for 10K MRR is my target, and I sleep with it. I think about it, how to get 10,000 how to get to the point where I get 10K MRR per month. And
of that 10K, I mean, do you have a timeline on how to do that? Right. So I feel, so just me giving advice here, right? So like from a goal perspective, a lot of people will say, oh, I want to get to 10K MRR or 10K, 100K, 120K AR, or whatever it is, right? Is there a time frame involved in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
6 months. Okay. That's part of my pitch deck too. Like what I ask is for 6 months, and then I would want to make at least 10K MRR. Then I know it's a success. A recurring 10K MRR is what I think, because when it comes to 10K, if I made from 0 to 10, I do not think it will be hard to go from 10K to 100 or 200 to a million, because you have then resources available to you. To get to the first 10K is extremely hard, is very hard, is what I think.
Well, that's your first 100 customers too, right? So if you can get 100
that is
customers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And once you break the shell and you know that it's working and it's bringing you some money, then you know it's working. There's a process that's working. You just got to put more into the process and expand markets or bring more resources to make that happen. And it could happen. But they're getting that 10K MRR, because now I can't hire a sales guy without paying them, right? On equity, you've got to be on equity. And I have a CTO and I have a CMO. I'm really happy that they are on with me. But I need a really sales guy too. But like they say, there's no better salesperson than the CEO itself for the first few customers.
Totally.
And I believe in that. Yeah. So I'm the person that's gonna have to make it happen.
No one's gonna love KarHappy like Nick.
Right.
There you go.
How can we help you get to 10K in monthly recurring revenue?
I appreciate any connections that you can with my employers. Just an interview would be great. My target market is employers between 10 in the area, like whether it's a Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area, but more focusing on Norfolk, because I can get to the providers pretty easily in Norfolk. Any connections you can make happen for an interview would be great.
What's something that we haven't talked about today that you want to talk about?
I think we covered pretty much everything about KarHappy and charity. Yeah.
There you go.
I was thinking an hour is too long, honestly.
Now you want another hour?
But time just flew. Time just flew like that, and now I know why you wanted to have an hour. I think hour is probably good.
Well, and I think that part of the thing is having this longer form. If somebody's if you had to shorten your answer to 10K in monthly recurring revenue, then someone may take that at face value. But for you to dig in just a little bit deeper and say, and we uncover the fact that that's your first 100 customers, and then once you have that, then you can scale that from 100 to 500 to 1,000 customers, and then increasing it. That makes a lot more sense, and there's a lot more substance to that answer than just.
Now I see that anyone want to do any kind of interviews like this, I'm like an hour.
Yeah.
Now I'm able to really explain very well, and I really appreciate it an hour long, because if it's only an hour, I got to cut short, and I got to know where to cut short and where I could elaborate. That's kind of confusing,
Well, and I think there's people out there that will have a list of 5, 6, 7 of the same questions that they ask everyone, and to me, I'm not a fan of that.
Right.
As someone interviewing you, or if I was being interviewed myself, I don't want to know the questions beforehand. I don't think that you dig deep enough into stuff. I think long form is better. I think that you can fall in love with the guest, and then because you fall in love with the guest, you want to do more research. Otherwise, if you're listening to the same answers from everyone, does it really matter? I mean, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't get the same value out of it, and I think that that's why Tim and I do it this way, and we're glad that you like it, Nick.
I really enjoyed it. I really loved it, and I can't really thank enough. I mean, it's not just being an hour on the show. It kind of brings me back where I started. It's been through a journey, and then somebody putting me in the right perspective. I really appreciate that, whatever upfront things are, because those are the facts. And good things, like I always say, I do not want to hear good things, because they are good things anyway, what I'm going to improve on, right? So tell me the bad things that I can improve on the good things.
Well, yeah, and you did a great job fielding those questions. So one, it helps you, and then it also forces to the people listening to the show that they have to answer those same questions and think to themselves, well, gosh, what do I need to do differently? Or I didn't even think about that. I should think about this as well. So
yeah,
you handled everything really well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
We're going to end the show the same way that we started it, with the peace sign, because that's the way to do it. Appreciate it, Nick, from KarHappy.
We need this in the world now. What's going around?
And the only thing else we need is we need peace and we need pancakes. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys next week. Nick, appreciate it. And if you're looking for pancakes, D-Egg down the street, Main Street, is where you should get them. They have a great...
Oh, really?
Repeat
that one more time. Repeat that one more time.
D-Egg is great. And
okay.
Tell Phil that Zack sent you, and he'll give you a good service. So appreciate it, guys. See you guys soon. Peace and pancakes.